In this video, I will review some of the basic concepts for testing the difference between two parameters. The difference between two parameters, such as two population means, can be tested using a z-test or a t-test. The difference between two proportions can be tested using a z-test. We begin with two populations, and we will compare a parameter from the first population, either a mean or a proportion, with a parameter for a second population, which is either a mean or a proportion. We collect samples from each population. We have to ensure the samples are independent of each other, meaning they have no values in common. So if we're testing the difference between two means, we are comparing mu1, mean 1, which is the mean of the first population, with mean 2, which is the mean of the second population. And we could have a two-tailed test, meaning that for h sub 1, mean 1 is not equal to mean 2. We could have a right test, meaning that for h sub 1, mean 1 is greater than mean 2. Or we could have a left-tailed test for h sub 1, mean 1 is less than mean 2. So if we have a z-test, we always want to check the two population standard deviations, sigma 1 and sigma 2. If these values are known, then we can apply the z-test. And so it will be based off, it'll have a normal shape distribution. The test point will be z equal to the difference between the two sample means minus the difference of the two population means, divided by the standard error, which is the square root of the standard deviation 1 squared divided by n1 plus standard deviation 2 squared divided by n2. Take note that the difference of the two population means is always 0. We could also have a t-test. In this scenario, sigma 1 and sigma 2, the two population standard deviations, are unknown. Our test point is modified. We're using now a t-distribution. So the test point is slightly modified. It's t equal to the difference of the sample means minus the difference of the population means divided by the standard error, which is the square root of s1 squared over n1 plus s2 squared over n2. And the difference of the two population means is 0. Now, we could also have a test for proportions. That's always a z-test. When we test for proportions, we use P1 for population proportion 1, P2 for population proportion 2. Once again, it could be two-tailed. Look at h sub 1, P1 not equal to P2. Could be right-tailed. Once again, look at h sub 1, P1 is greater than P2. Or left-tailed. Look at h sub 1, P1 is less than P2. And then the test point formula is z equal to the difference in the sample proportions minus the difference in the population proportions divided by the square root of p bar times q bar, these are weighted proportions, times 1 over n1 plus 1 over n2. And then take note that the difference of the two population proportions is always 0. So that's just a brief summary of the types of tests that we can have when we're performing a hypothesis test for the difference of two parameters. Thanks for watching the video.